And welcome back to part 4, and I believe the last part of what I'm going to do for the What If Vegeta Was Never Born? So last time we left off with basically Resurrection F really just being a one and done. Goku kind of just ultimately taking out Frieza. And except it wasn't Frieza, it was King Cold. I had to just remember that off my head right there. It was King Cold because Frieza was just taken out and King Cold still existed. It just took that long for King Cold to eventually either find out about it, and that's probably not what it is, or just finally work up the gumption to be like, okay, I've had it with this. Let's go and kill the monkeys. So unfortunately, King Cole, unlike Frieza, hadn't been training, therefore he didn't have a godlike transformation with him. So he got his shit kicked in pretty hard by Goku. So now we go over to the Universe 6 tournament. And yeah, all we got really left to do is Universe 6, the Goku Black, and the Tournament of Power. And with the Universe 6 tournament, it would still be Goku and Piccolo, that's a given. But who else would be on the team? I imagine that they would probably be able to convince either 17 to be on the team, or 16, because they're both running that nature preserve. So one of them can easily stay behind. I'd actually imagine it'd be 16 who stays behind. So I'd imagine 17 would, with some proper persuasion on both Beerus and maybe Bulma's part, offering like, here, have a boat. On their part, that that 17 would be more than willing to, stop by and help. And then Gohan, I think, would be the next likely candidate for that. I completely believe Gohan would be there. So you get to the tournament. Now, everyone's able to qualify. That's the different part here. The difference here. Everyone's qualified because everyone's smart enough to pass. Even Goku, barely passing, was smart enough to do it. Except he wouldn't do that, now that I say it out loud, because Vegeta's the one who insisted on doing it. So you wouldn't have that. So you just have these guys, fighting. So Goku would still beat Potamo pretty easily, lose to Frost. Piccolo would lose to Frost, but Frost would get disqualified. And the big difference here is that there's no Vegeta saying, all right, I'll take him. It's like, rah! And, takes his vengeance on Frieza through Frost. So then you now lead into Piccolo versus, I believe it was Kaba. If I'm not mistaken, it was Kaba. You get Piccolo versus Kaba. It was Kaba next. It wasn't Vegeta. Vegeta was the fourth guy. So Kaba versus Piccolo. Piccolo's obviously a little worn out, but he can still fight, clearly. And Kaba, we know for a fact Kaba was about as strong base-wise as Vegeta was, because Vegeta stated that it was as strong as him in base form. Now, granted, I'm sure Vegeta wasn't going all out even in base form. And then Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan, they would have probably been evened out as well. Which gives you an idea of how the Saiyans in Universe 6 evolved compared to the Saiyans in Universe 7. But the question is, could Piccolo at full strength go toe-to-toe or even beat a even suppressed base form Vegeta who had been training in God Ki at that point? I will say this. I don't think he could beat if we're talking about Piccolo versus Vegeta at that point. I don't think even at full capacity and Vegeta be even slightly hindered that Piccolo would ultimately be able to be a base form Vegeta. At that point, but Goku and Vegeta, even in base form, were kind of a couple leagues above everyone else. With the exception of a few individuals, like Gohan, for instance, when he got his ultimate power back, is an obvious example of that. Boo, when he actually started training seriously, was clearly an example of that. There were a couple members, 17 I think was another example of that. So there are definitely a couple members of the Z Fighters who are capable of at least going toe-to-toe with their base forms. Pretty simple. And we even saw in the anime that 17 could take on Super Saiyan Goku, and I think even Super Saiyan 2 Goku without too much trouble. In the manga, though, once Goku went Super Saiyan 3, 17 was on the losing side of that fight. And you notice, I always point this out in that fight, just to go off topic just a little bit, is that in the anime, Goku immediately goes to Super Saiyan Blue because he says he didn't want to accidentally kill him. Remember, Super Saiyan Blue is about ki control. He can control his level of power in that very easily. So that's why Krillin was able to even for temporarily was able to for a moment temporarily match Goku's Kamehameha even in Blue because Goku wasn't going anywhere near all out in Super Saiyan Blue. But anyway, but that being said, Piccolo is the far you look at those two, Kaba and Piccolo. Kaba's a good fighter. Let's say that. Kaba's a good fighter. But he's clear, too. He's young. He's got a lot more to learn. Piccolo's been around. Well, actually, when you really break down Piccolo's age, Piccolo's not that old. Piccolo is like, let's see, he was like 6-ish? Maybe like 6 or 8-ish by the time the original series start. And then you factor in, yeah, when you actually break down Piccolo's age, Piccolo is barely in his 20s. Really think on that real quick. The Piccolo we know, is barely in his 20s. Now, granted, he has been living his entire life in combat, pretty much. So, Piccolo is the far more experienced fighter. He's been dealing with far worse opponents than Kaba. So, I think through actual tactics, methods, and techniques, Piccolo would actually, I think, be able to overcome Kaba, specifically because Kaba's almost certainly not going to hit Super Saiyan in this. Like, he saw Goku do it, and he was curious about that, but he's not fighting Gohan or Goku, who might instruct him on it. Therefore, he's not going to learn it from Piccolo. Piccolo, meanwhile, still has, a bunch of tricks he can pull out of his sleeve. He can pull out the energy blast from his hand, regeneration, his stretchy arm thing, and he basically just and I think at one point that'd be one technique he does, just stretch, grab, and lift up Cobb and just slam him down on the ground. Outside the ring, and he obviously loses at that point. At that point, though, it's Vegeta versus Piccolo, and at that point, Piccolo tries a little. Piccolo says, "Yeah, I don't have much energy left." The kid goes like, "It's okay, it's all good." So the question is, who would be the next one up? I would imagine it would be Gohan. It goes, just kind of like my dad folded the blanket here, and she just pulls that. She likes to nestle on the blanket. There you go. Get your blanket nest going. My girlfriend says my girlfriend and I compare each other to a cat and dog. She's a cat, or it's like when she wants attention, she kind of gets in the way of things and like will just kind of like snuggle. I was like, I love you too, babe. But dude, spend a few minutes there. Okay, I need you. I was like, no. Or as I like when I get ready for bed, I kind of like have to get comfortable, where she can be like, and that's kind of what Domino just did there. So I digress. I do think Gohan would take on Vegeta, and I think it would be something like Vegeta's fight. But Gohan is a much more intelligent fighter in the sense that he's a lot more book smart, and he's a lot more what's the best way to put it? He's a lot more strategic in that sense. Whereas, yes, Vegeta and Goku are natural fighters, definitely. But Gohan definitely is someone who's thinking things out a bit more. And therefore, I think he would eventually pinpoint on Vegeta's weakness. It'd be a struggle for Gohan. But he'd make it through there. I think he would. I think he does take down Vegeta. And then you get to the Hit versus Gohan fight. Goes about the same as it does for Vegeta. And then 17 comes in. Now, 17, I think, has a little bit of not an advantage, but a way to outlast Hit a bit more because he can put up his shield. But if Hit wants to, he can, honestly, we see what Hit can do. Hit could probably get past that shield, no problem. But I think at one point, Hit goes in for a strike, and 17, after taking a few shots, does kind of get his rhythm and puts up the shield immediately when he strikes, which surprises him, which surprises Hit. But then Hit just does the missile energy blast, which fires through things, and it hits 17 and goes down. Eventually, Goku goes in, and that whole fight goes the same. Now, that being said, remember, we also have Monaka in this fight as well. So that ends up going the same. Cut over to the Goku Black arc. Now, again, you can make the argument, different timelines, all that, but I generally treated like Trunks' timeline is separate from the original one, which it basically is. So basically, we get the first part is the exact same. Trunks goes to the past. Talks to Goku. Goku Black comes. They square off. Then they go to the future. That fight generally goes the exact same. Now, the thing is here is that Vegeta was able to give them a window to escape. Is that window still there? Not from Vegeta. I imagine they would at least survive the first encounter, but they still get their crap kicked in. The second time around, they go back with there's no training like with Vegeta. There's just they work out the strategy. They get the Mafuba down. Unfortunately, they once again leave without the proper seal tag. So they both actually end up sealing Zamasu and Goku Black, but they completely forget to get the seal tag, so they have to just keep the damn thing closed. Now, I think Goku could probably keep it closed a little bit longer, but the problem isn't the fact that they're keeping it closed. The problem is the fact that there's no seal to give the containment unit structure. Therefore, it just breaks. And they're both shocked by the mortals doing this, so they turn into merge Zamasu, fuse Zamasu, and they give it their damnedest. Here's the thing: we had Vegeta and Trunks like a father-son Gatling gun, or Gallic gun. Sorry, not Gatling gun, Gallic gun, and they really tried. And then Goku came in and did the trick. Now it's just Goku and Trunks, but Goku does have his Kaioken, which he does put on like full. I was gonna say full plow, but that's not right. Full blast. There was a word I was gonna use besides blast, but I can't think out of the top of my head. It's just a full Kaioken times 10 energy blast. At this point, I don't think Goku could use Kaioken times 20 just because we didn't see him use it, as far as we know. And just and with that, they're able to blast them back, and it hits them, and. But then they have to go. They're shot down, and then the Supreme Kais come and they hide and all that. So then you basically Shin and Gowasu basically scold him for his actions, and Zamasu being the arrogant prick he was. Zamasu is both a terrible villain and a great villain. Because he's a terrible villain because he's really not a very bright villain. His motivation is dumb as shit, and his plan was stupid. Like, wait, you have access to the Super Dragon Balls. You have a time ring to go to different times to use multiple wishes with the Super Dragon Balls. And your first wish is immortality. That makes sense. Why not just wish for the gods apart from yourself gone, and then wish for the mortals to be... But you know why he did, because he felt he had to do it himself. He had a god complex. So... yeah, but at the same time, he's a great villain because you want to see his ass defeated. Eventually it's like, we need to square out. Luckily they had get out some Senzu beans. Basically Zamasu just praised himself as a deity. It's like, there's no way we can beat him. And then Shin, I think, would actually think, wait, is it possible? Goku, Trunks, take these. It's like, what are these? The earrings that we Kais with, the Potara earrings. When worn by a single individual, they are nothing more than they are nothing more than earrings. But when put on the separate ears of two different individuals, they can create what you saw with the Zamasu, a fusion. I was like, wait, are we going to be permanently fused? Normally with the Kais, yes. With deities, certainly. But with mortals, the fusion only lasts an hour. So Trunks and Goku both recovered, put on the earrings. Now, I do not believe that Trunku, as I'm calling him, would be as strong as Vegeta. It's just, Trunks isn't as strong as Vegeta. He's not. Nor is their relationship on grounds that it would increase the effect of the fusion anyway. But I do believe it'd still be an effective fusion. Plus, they have the sword. And when you're talking about merged techniques, it completely justifies that spirit sword Trunks uses by combining the spirit bomb with his sword Basically stabs him with a spirit bomb. Um, so that fight will go along hard, and eventually they split, defuse, and all that. And yes, Goku got the button from the Omni King, so eventually it leads to him summoning Zeno and blowing away Zamasu for good. So that's how that timeline works. And the question would be, does Trunks go back to his different timeline? Yeah, he does. There's no reason Trunks really stays in the past. Uh, so with the Tournament of Power, it's pretty much the same. You might get a different individual there, but it goes about the same. I mean, Gohan's there. I think you might be able to get Piccolo to go there, because they just had to find someone there. Boo was the one available. And by the way, that they screwed over Boo hard. I mean, it's kind of obvious why you couldn't have Boo in this Tournament of Power. His powers, he would have had a huge target on his head with the amount of abilities he had. But his fight with Basil, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Basil. No, was it Lavender or no? Oh crap. Now, the red one was Basil. That was the one Boo fought. Lavender was the yellow one that used poison. And then Bergamo is obviously the brother, the head brother. And that grew in size. So, yeah, they still, the preliminaries still goes off about the same. Now you have the Tournament of the Power, which is, we're dealing with, the teams are definitely different at this point with, obviously Goku, Gohan, Piccolo, 17, 18 would obviously be there. Krillin, Roshi, Tien, and then you're down 2. So who's your 2? I think they managed to convince 16 because obviously, yes, his program grew as a character, but they can make the argument that if this universe dies, your job's gone, and then what this place is gone. So what? And there's a very well, I will go. So that's one. Who's the last person they bring back? They bring to the table, because there's really no one else on Earth, which means they have to make a choice. They have to bring some individuals back, and the question is, who do they bring back? Do they bring back Frieza, or do they bring back King Cold? Well, it's a tough call, actually, when you think about it. Cold clearly was the stronger of the two, but they have about as much history as Frieza. So I guess they basically go, and wouldn't you know, King Cold and Frieza are both sitting there, father and son, just complaining about how their existence is terrible. But at the same time, Goku then makes one statement, says to Whis, like, Whis, didn't you say at one point you found some Saiyans? Saiyans like, oh yes, I did when you were, oh that's right, I did. Or didn't Shenron say there were some Saiyans still in the galaxy? I can't remember if it was Whis or Shenron did that. Oh, that's right, on the planet Vampa, we did find 2 Saiyans there. One quite powerful indeed. The other, an older Saiyan, but still very powerful. So that could we maybe find them and bring them here? It's like, I don't suppose why not. Yes, we need anyone without still down one fighter. And so basically they go to Vampa, meet Broly and Paragus. First off, they get them off the planet. That's the least they can do. And they have a solid meal for the first time in God knows how long. Just, oh God, so what happened to Prince Vegeta? Lord Vegeta, King Vegeta. I really don't know. I was sent off Earth long ago as a kid, but my guess is, from what I understand, Frieza blew up the planet, and then we blew up Frieza. It's like, so Frieza and Lord Vegeta are gone. So tell me, why did you come save? Not that I'm not grateful, but why did you come save us? Well, we actually came to save you, A, because we need your help. But B, also because, we wanted to see, well, we need your help more than anything else. It's like, wait, you knew about us for this long and you did nothing? They bring out the points like we knew about it. Well, there's been a lot going on. We kind of forgot. Sorry. And, you guys were still there. Right? We assumed you were, okay. And it's like, we were okay. And we start because like, calm down now. Calm down. We never lost sight of you. But I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. At least you didn't banish it. Paragus is definitely bitter about the whole thing, but with Vegeta and Frieza dead, there's not, and no, Kid Vegeta at all. So there's no real reason for him to hold on to the anger. And he's old enough to understand that to some degree. So he's just like, but we need we need Broly's help. I mean, he's clearly the stronger. Yeah, I mean, my son certainly is. And then they explain the scenario. I was like, so you're saying we're going to be wiped out of existence? It's like, yeah, if we lose, that's right. It's like, Broly, be a good boy and fight with them. It's like, okay. Uh, uh, so they go and basically they go into the Tournament of Power. Now, a lot of the tournament does go the same, although the Universe 9 probably lasts a bit longer. Without Frieza and Vegeta there, they're able to last. They're definitely able to last a bit longer, but Goku's able to systematically just take a lot of them out. So it's a lot of stuff is going to go the same, but with so different combatants, particularly Broly and 16 on the team, you will probably be seeing, like, 16 is probably just going to be systematic in how he takes things on, individuals on. Broly is probably just going to be taking out the small fry as well. So eventually you'll get to the Caulifla versus Goku fight, the first one. Kale goes berserk, but just as she's going berserk, all of a sudden, and Goku tries to stop her, she, snacks Goku around. All of a sudden, Broly, who's basically goes into Akari form, after, getting pissed off enough, just smacks into Kale. Now, the question obviously is Kale stronger than Broly? The correct answer to that is, God, no, she's not stronger than Broly. When you actually compare the fights that Kale and Broly have with Goku, Broly dominated the majority of his fight with Goku. Anytime Goku upped the level to get the advantage, Broly quickly re-upped the level. So, Kale, on the other hand, while Kale initially overwhelmed Goku, Goku clearly wasn't going all out, and that is evident with the fact that when they had the rematch, Goku was fighting them on a far more even basis. Especially when he hit God, it was like Kale at that point was struggling. She was still able to kind of keep up, but she was struggling. But Broly wasn't having that problem. Like, Broly's natural strength, just by going into his Akari form, was able to compete with God level Goku and Vegeta. That's how strong his times 10. And that's the thing, it is a times 10 multiplier. Think about that for a second. It's a times 10 multiplier, because Paragus said that he took off Broly's tail so he wouldn't go into an 8 form. And the 8 form we know is a 10 times multiplier. But somehow he's channeling that power again. So it is probably a 10 times multiplier. That means Broly is just multiplying by 10 is stronger or at least as strong as a Super Saiyan God Goku or Vegeta. Which is kind of nuts when you think about that. Just how strong Broly actually was. Like, this Broly beat the crap out of the movie Broly. But point being, yeah, Akari Broly comes in and just lays a straight on, like, up, just straight, like, right hook onto Kale's cheek. Boom, she goes flying. And now they're squaring off, and it's a freaking brawl. Two just berserker warrior monsters beating the living hell out of each other. and Paragus is, by the way, in the stance, is like, Broly! Broly's just, getting angry. Broly and her just going toe-to-toe. Now, she is still ultimately stronger at this point, but the gap is small, and it will just take the one more push to push Broly into Super Saiyan. Unfortunately, Jiren's there, and I couldn't guarantee you that Jiren is weaker than Broly. Because we just don't have a fight for that. And don't take anything that happens maybe in, like, Dragon Ball Superheroes or whatever. Because I know that shit's canon. But, Broly comes in, or Jiren comes in, and he basically, does the energy blast and hits both of them. Both of them go flying. Broly and Kale goes into wings. Broly is definitely hurt, but he's still able to fight. But he's definitely now on the weaker side. And, Goku gets in there and, gets Broly's back. Broly, you okay? I'm fine. And luckily, Broly is able to keep it in check for a change. Because Jiren's no joke. Despite how boring a character he gets up until near the end, when they decide to actually try to give him a character, And even then, it's not like the best character, but at least they tried at some point. Broly is because it's Jiren. Broly's able to kind of reel it back a bit, so get some time to recover, and maybe just take on some of the weaker aspects of the tournament. Obviously, Krillin gets knocked out. Tien gets knocked out. Roshi gets, like, the first big three will get knocked out. That's a given in my mind. But then you get the Goku versus Jiren fight. That goes about the same, including the whole Ultra Instinct thing. And then, Hit gets knocked out. Broly, once again, it's Broly's probably actually I think, here's the one thing I'll say. Between 16 and Broly, Universe 3 is probably going to be knocked out a lot sooner, and you don't get Aniraza. Because I think the components to make Aniraza get knocked out quick. So eventually you get the Goku versus Kale Caulifla round 2, except this time, Broly, it's like a tag team with Broly and Goku. It's like, you ready for this, Broly? Let's do it. And this is the first time Broly's really had any true fight and challenge in his life. And the first time in his life, he's feeling that Saiyan blood and the excitement of the fight. And him and Goku are actually kind of really starting to become little buddies in this. And they go toe to toe. Now, Caulifla would want to go after Goku, obviously. Kale, I think, would want to go after Broly because they both remembered each other. And basically, again, this time, after a little practice, because remember how Saiyans progress. It was quick in that tournament. Broly actually accesses the Kari, and they go toe-to-toe again. This time, a lot more even, and this time they both have a better idea of how the other's fighting. So, they're going back and forth. And Goku and Caulifla it's a very similar fight when you break it down. But ultimately, Goku goes into God and is able to pretty much overwhelm them. Then they turn into Kefla, and Broly and Goku are like, oh, crap. And then he kind of blitzes them a little bit. And really, Broly just, he's starting to really put his all into it. Broly, you can do it, man. Come on. And Goku is, William are struggling, and Goku actually gives him a card and says, you can do it, man. Yeah, you can do it, Broly. Not man, obviously. Broly, come on. Let's show them what we can do. And then Broly just like, it's a weird combination because it's the tingly back thing you get from Universe 2, because that's how Goku even explained it a little bit, which is so dumb. But Broly even looks on and sees his father and it's like, I gotta do this. I gotta protect my father. I gotta protect my new friends. I will do this. I will do this. I can do this. And something, and it's that snap in Broly. It is that snap. And it's that anger of wanting to be not the best, but wanting to save the day, wanting to save the story. It's that anger, because it's anger that triggers it. It's a different type of anger. It's like a righteous anger. It's like, I will say that I will beat you. And the hair goes blonde and Broly turns Super Saiyan for the first time. Now he is a little enraged, to say the least. But again, between Paragus able to help him a little bit with the device he has. Well, actually, not that device. His device was actually hurting Broly. And they probably would get rid of that device, honestly. But with Goku there as a new friend, and he sees Goku, he can still identify Goku as his friend. And Goku's like, it's like, you okay, Broly? Look at me. It's Kakarot. It's Goku. And then, Broly actually, Goku, Kakarot. He's a little nod like, Kakarot. My friend, Kakarot. That's right, Broly. It's like, ugh. And he kind of does what Kale does, calms down, and now he's in control. At least he finally gains control after kind of going crazy for a little bit. And now it's Super Saiyan Broly and Super Saiyan Blue Goku versus Kefla, who she's like, okay, I wasn't expecting this today. And then they tag team her ass. And she can't keep up with both these guys. And that amount of power gets Jiren's attention. Broly at just Super Saiyan, because that's basically a 500 times multiplier. Think of that. Super Saiyan's times 50. At 10 times, he was able to match Super Saiyan God, Goku, and Vegeta. 50 times that? Oh, there's a reason Broly was that big of a threat. So now Jiren, steps up to the plate, and Goku and Broly are looking at it, all right. And Goku wouldn't have to go Ultra Instinct in this fight, because he's got an extra partner for this. So they're looking on, just all right, let's do this. And Jiren and him, Jiren, Goku, and Broly clash. And it's kind of like with Goku and Vegeta versus Jiren, but I would imagine Broly's stronger than what we saw with Vegeta at that point. So, they're going toe-to-toe. And Jiren seeing Broly as the bigger threat right now. Just, poof, and like the sheer power, even he actually has to grab that fist, and he's even buckling back on that. Meanwhile, Goku Kaioken times 20s him from behind. And by the way, you're probably wondering how Goku gets the energy to recover. I'm sure one of his teammates can go and find him, and that's not a big issue. Comes in from behind with an instant transmission. It's like, Broly now! It's like, Broly move! And then Broly gets out of the way as Jiren turns around and a point blank Kamehameha to the face thanks to the instant transmission hits him. Just, and Jiren's singed. He's actually a little hurt. And then the fight continues. You would probably... Ultimately, it still comes down to Universe 11 and Universe 7. But I think, besides Piccolo getting knocked out, I think, honestly, you would probably have 17, 18, and Gohan still around. Definitely, you would. And they're able to take on Dispo and Topo all right. Topo and Topo probably wouldn't be... and yeah, so I think I forgot 16 of that. You got 16, 18, 17, and Gohan. So yeah, really, did I actually, wow, now that I'm saying this out loud, Broly, Goku, Gohan, 17, 18, 16, Roshi, Tien, Krillin, Piccolo. Okay, but I was getting something wrong there? Don't know why. So yeah, there's still 6 of them there. So yeah, they're able to take on Topo. Without problem, because I don't think Topo would go into Super Saiyan God form, or Super Saiyan God, to God Destruction form, because he didn't fight someone who was fighting dirty like Frieza. And ultimately, then they go and aid Goku in Broly in their fight with Jiren. Ultimately, though, I think Broly does get knocked out after trying to help Goku, because again, Jiren sees him as just the bigger threat right now. And everyone's struggling. Goku eventually does go into to Ultra Instinct. Master Ultra Instinct. And that fight goes about the same, with a little bit more favor in Goku, because I think Jiren's a little bit more worn out because he had to fight Broly. Did everyone get knocked out in this case? No, I don't think everyone got knocked out. I think you end up with probably 17 Goku and Gohan, like you got in the end of the anime opening. Or anime closing. What am I talking about? The end of the credits in one of the super animes where it was Goku and Gohan, father and son. And I think you have that, and basically it's their tag team. And it's like Gohan's like, throw me, Dad! Boom, takes him out, and then yeah, there you go. They take out Jiren, and ultimately they bring the universes back. It's a happy ending. Broly is now kind of initiated into the Z Fighters a little bit. Paragus and him are finding a decent home on Earth. So ultimately, that is where Dragon Ball Super ends. Now, is Dragon Ball Super over? We don't know that 100% for certain. We know that it's some way, some form, Dragon Ball is coming back. Whether it's going to be Dragon Ball Super just continuing on, or whether or not it's going to be Dragon Ball something else, whether it's going to follow the Galactic Patrol arc after that. It's happening in the manga right now with Moro. Moro would be a cool guy to see in the anime. But we don't know. But we do know Dragon Ball will be coming back at some point. But right now, that is where we're going to leave it. So, by the way, people kind of ask, continue this one. It's like, I can't. It's over. I've reached the point in the series where the series ended. I'm not going into GT because GT is not canon. Unless they figure out a way to tie Super into GT, GT is not canon. And if they do, that'd be so freaking dumb. But anyway, that's what they really have to do is figure out a way to tie Super into the very end of the last episode of Dragon Ball Z where Goku goes to train Oob. Because you have to ask the question, where did his God Key go? All of that. Who knows? Until then, though, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Those who want to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Super, Magic, What If, anything to do in the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. So I still got a What If to do today and a Who Would Win, and I'll have a new Dragon Ball What If, tomorrow, as well as a box office video. So thanks for watching. I'll be joining. I'll see you folks next time.